if I stay in the United States and I talk some like bad thing about China, yeah, I'm popular. And if I stay in the China, I talk about some bad thing about the United States, I'm popular. But I didn't do the thing like this. I want to follow my heart and to tell the truth. All of the projects began from my own personal experience.
Hi there. For a while I've wanted to include more interview content in my videos, so I've begun with a young Chinese photographer, Ronghui Chen, who's doing really interesting work and making a mark for himself within the international photographic world. After finishing school, he studied at a Chinese university and then went on to get his master's in photography at Yale. He shoots with an 8x10 camera and principally focuses on China's urbanization and the impact that this has on the lives of individuals.
I was born in Lishui, a small city in China. And then I went to the university. I studied journalism. At that time, I thought I'm a photojournalist. I finished my MFA program at Yale. I started to sell more works in China. Because my work is not about Chinese identity, It's more about social documentary.
For his project Freezing Land, he traveled to the desolate region of northeast China. It used to be the wealthiest area in the country, but because of diminishing resources, it's become China's Rust Belt. As the industries died off, people left to pursue work in other parts of the country. Chen's pictures show occasional bursts of colors within these sad landscapes. They mirror the faded hopes of the remaining inhabitants. He said that the people that he met, especially the young, are filled with uncertainties about their futures.
I think it's very important for me. I used to have several chances to publish my works in the United States, for the book, but I didn't do it because I think it's very important for me, like as a Chinese photographer, I should tell the story to Chinese people. A lot of friends ask me, why you come back to China from United States? Oh, I want to take photos about my country. So I'm always thinking about these three things: personal experience, visual language, social engagement. I want to balance them.
One of the most striking images in the series shows a young man holding a wig sitting in a brightly colored room. He's a 14-year-old live streamer. Locally, they're referred to as broadcast jockeys. Even though he's got a huge following, he lives a lonely existence. Chen created a poignant portrait. The mood of isolation is accentuated by the cheerful surroundings. In his series Petrochemical China, he turns his attention to the Yangtze River Delta. It's one of the country's most prosperous regions, which is home to the largest concentration of petrochemical refineries. Here, massive state-run plants have been built alongside residential areas, and this has led to cancer villages. The community's traditional lifestyles based on farming and fishing have faded away, leaving the inhabitants rootless and alienated. On a few occasions, Chen has had to adapt his approach to avoid coming into conflict with the Chinese authorities. When he was developing his Petrochemical China project, he had to shift from a journalistic style to a landscape approach. This initial setback turned into a positive because his quieter, more contemplative images reveal layered stories about the lives of people living in this area. His exposure to the work of photographers like Joel Sternfeldt and Richard Misrak had a strong influence on some of the photographic choices that he made for this essay.
It's very interesting, like when I did the petrochemical project, I was still a photojournalist at that time. I got the news source from my colleague. She told me newspaper cannot publish the story. And this was the first time I realized as a photojournalist, I cannot do something. But I just thought I can do some art practice like on weekends. And then I realized, oh, I cannot go to the factory to cover the story. Maybe I should keep some distance to observe the factory.
From a Western perspective, it might appear that photographers around the world view the medium similarly and that the challenges that they face are comparable. But Chen presents a more complex picture. He's grappled with the fact that photography as an artistic medium is relatively new in the East. Through his project Reframing the Invention of Photography, he created a fantasy world in which he's become the heir to a celebrated lineage of Chinese photographic innovation. This project is a little more in the conceptual domain.
But actually, Chinese photography is still like a baby. It's totally different in the United States. You know, the art market is totally different, and it's huge. Like more museum galleries, more art shows. When Chinese people talk about the photography, like it's not like painting or architecture or like other art, because photography is kind of like totally Western. When I went to Yale, like I'm very confused sometimes when the professor asks you like what you learned from Chinese photography, and I said I learned photography from Ok Evans, like Robert Frank, Richard Misraj. This is the reason why I did the essay, reframe the invention of photography. I wanted to prove something at that time, like Chinese people or Chinese photographers can do something unique or differently from Western photographer.
At the moment, Chen is working on a project called Modern Shanghai. His rich, large format images reveal a society in a state of change. The name Shanghai means on the sea. It's located on the east coast of China near the mouth of the Yangtze River. It was originally a small fishing village, but over the centuries it became more of a commercial hub. Then, during the early part of last century, it became the Chinese city of choice for Westerners. It was known as the Pearl of the Orient, or probably less politically correct, the Paris of the East. Chen highlights the city's blend of past and present, as well as West and East. To close, I'll run images from Chen's essay Runaway World, which documents amusement parks throughout China. His pictures reflect how the symbolism and significance of objects varies in different cultures. These entertainment spaces are filled with a strange assortment of structures, replicas of dinosaurs, Eastern temples, Roman ruins, and Venetian landmarks. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. And I wish you the best of luck with your career.
Thank you so much. It's my honor to have a chance to do this interview.